So the first thing that I want to give you tips on to help you in your trading, again, the stuff I'm talking about is going to be price action. It's going to apply to anything. So whether you're trading futures, trading options, trading the markets, trading crypto, it doesn't matter. If it's a chart, this is how it's going to work, okay? And then we're going to dive into the live markets and walk you through that as well. So with this here, they are going to have 3 different phases, okay? Phase 1 is going to be a trending market. This is when it's consistently making higher highs and higher lows, or lower highs and lower lows. That is a trending market. Okay. Good morning, Patrick. Welcome, my friends. That is a trending market. Okay. That is a phase. In this phase, pretty much everything works. The markets are very stable. Volatility is normal. I do a ton of option selling in this phase. I do a ton of swing trading in this phase. Swing trades tend to work extremely well during this one, and so does day trading. Pretty much everything's working during a trending phase because it's very predictable if you know what to look for. After you have your trending phase, then it changes into a consolidation phase. During consolidation, selling options is a great way of making money. Day trading is pretty good. Swing trading is rough. This is where things can get pretty tricky because nothing's really following through. You'll notice that things don't ever really make it to your target. You get in and it works for a day or so, and then it just reverses. It's just very choppy, right? Then after you leave your trending, your consolidation, once you leave consolidation, then you have your volatility stage. This is where you get massive moves, bullish or bearish, and there's not really much of an S-curve price action. It's just straight moves. Very, very strong. This is where option selling gets destroyed. This is where day trading tends to work the best. And if you can be on the right side of some swing trades, you can print on those as well. Okay, so directional plays tend to do extremely well during the volatility phase. So if we go and look at the markets of where we're at right now, so we can look at the Qs real quick. This was actually a volatility phase, and that went straight into a consolidation phase. So we didn't actually get the trending market on this. We didn't get higher highs and higher lows. This thing just went straight bullish for months. It's just one of the strongest bull moves ever. Then we went into a consolidation phase. Now we're leaving that consolidation phase, which means we're what? Most likely entering into another volatility phase. So if you look at the volatility phase, remember we talked about day trading and swing trading tend to work really well in volatility phases. And by the way, this works again on futures, on crypto, on anything that's the chart. You're going to have these phases. And it's about applying the right strategy at the right time. If you can apply the right strategy at the right time, that is where you are really going to get ahead. Trading is not about being correct. It's about applying the strategy at the right time. If you can do that, you're going to have the best math to be able to lose small and to be able to win big. Okay, that's what we really want to focus on. And so right now, if we're looking at the Qs, and I'm looking at the Qs because we're outside the range of the previous day, the bears are really building this momentum through. If we go to a smaller time frame and start looking at this, you'll see on a smaller time frame, we've been trending down very nicely, right? We're making lower highs and lower lows, so we're very stable and trending on lower time frame. Bulls built a really great base through here and then actually had a decent little breakout yesterday. So we know that there are a lot of bulls in this market from yesterday because we've been moving down for a long time. The RSI was getting some bullish divergence. People are like, hey, this makes a lot of sense for us to go bullish. And so that's exactly what they did. And then they woke up this morning. How did they feel this morning on the gap down? If you bought right here, how would you feel on this gap down? Your thoughts? Yeah, worried. You'd be frustrated. You'd be scared. All of those. You'd feel horrible. Yeah. Why do you think we sold off so hard right at open? Because that's exactly what most people were feeling here. The bears, your job as a trader is to be able to understand people's emotions because people's emotions make them predictable. Right? People's emotions make them predictable. And so if you can understand their emotions, you have a very good idea of what they're going to do. What are they most likely doing? Selling, getting out. And so what are shorts most likely going to jump on this? They're going to short this market and push it even lower. Now, 670 is a massive options level here over on the Qs. And so if we're on the Qs here, I'm using MentorQ. I'm a partner here with MentorQ. I love their program, their products. What this is doing here, this is on today's expiration. This is showing me where positions are held. Okay. So 670, if we go over here to our delta, this is a position. We have very large positions here at 670 for today. So the markets are going to do their best to try to hold it above this 670 mark. We get below 670, we see massive selling today. So this 670 range, again, is one of those here where it's like, okay, most likely going to be target for the day. And so we start looking back onto the Qs, and what are we doing here right around 670? It's trying to hold. But look at the closures going into this. Are we closing down around our lows here on a 15-minute time frame? Yeah. What does that tell you? Again, we know where the bull sentiment was at. People are like, oh, there's a very good chance we bounce, and I expected us to bounce. I didn't buy anything, but I expected us to bounce yesterday or today. So bulls are trapped. They're scared. They're worried. The bear stepped in and shorted this thing down, and it closed at its low on the opening 15-minute candle, which the opening 15 sets the tone for the day usually. Followed by the next candle that closed around its low as well. What are we thinking? What's the feeling? Who's in control? And is momentum gaining or losing? Bears are in control for sure. Right? Bear time. Yep, exactly, Alan. Bears are definitely in control. How do we know that? Because it's not to do with the EMAs. It's not to do with anything else. My friends, take everything off your charts. Take everything off your charts. All you need to do is look at lower highs and lower lows. Bearish trend. Once the nearest lower high breaks, we are now bullish. We're going to make higher highs and higher lows. Once the nearest higher low breaks, we are now bearish, and we'll make lower highs and lower lows, and that works on every time frame. So even though we got a bullish bounce here, we are still in a bear move. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't go long here, where I know a lot of people did. Right? Same story. We had a very nice bull move here, but we never took out the lower high up here. So we are still bearish. And so knowing this price action, it's not going to be a fortune teller. It's not going to give you everything, but it gives you probabilities. The probability is that we keep making lower highs and lower lows until we finally take out the nearest lower high. So for right now, what's most likely going to happen if the bulls step back through? We've got the bulls trapped. We've got the bears clearly in control with the bear trend. And we're closing strong at the lows across very important bull levels. It's most likely going to get rejected back down. So if you wanted to trade this, what I wouldn't do is start shorting it down here. Why? Because we know how the markets move. The markets move like this, then they do this, and then they do this. So what phase are we in right now? We are probably sitting right here, which means what's about to happen soon? Probably that. And then what's most likely? Probability going to happen after that. Probably a fold back over. That's the probability. Could this continue to drop? Yes. Does that change the fact that we are still in this part of the S-curve before this happens? No. If we keep on going, has that changed anything? No, we're still in this first part. We know that this part's coming. It's just when. So could you make money on this going short right now? Yes. Don't worry about the money you're going to make. Worry about the risk. Where does your stop have to be? Let me get rid of all this stuff. Where does your stop need to be? You could put your stop right here on this candle, but are we still, let me ask this, are we bullish if we get above this candle? What do you guys think? Are the bears still in control? Yeah, not based off the rules that we just talked about. We're not bullish until we get up above here. So if you put your stop here, is it very possible for it to bounce back up, stop you out, and then just fold over and go to target an hour later. And so your stop really should be up above here. So if you got in here, you're 2 to 1. You're going to have to, the markets are going to have to make this big of a move in order for you to make 2 to 1. And why do you need 2 to 1? Because this directional trading, meaning we have to be perfect, it has to go down and go all the way down. This is what you want to look at when you're trading. It's not about the money you can make. It's about the risk that you have to risk to get that money. Why do I care about my risk? Because risk is everything. If, my other strategies with credit spreads have a 90% win rate, but they still lose. It's not 100%. Okay. So because I know I'm going to lose, I have to focus on my risk, because when it all is said and done, risk is the only thing that's going to matter. If I can control my ability to and control my math, right? If I can lose small and win big, does it matter that I take 10 losses and only one win if on that one win I make $1,000 and when I lost, I only lost $10? Does it matter that I have a 10% win rate? No, it doesn't matter at all. Does it matter if you take 100 wins and only one loss? Again, if you're losing $5,000 on that one loss and you're only making $10 here on your wins, you're going to feel really, really good. I'm going to win all the time, but over 100 trades, are you actually doing anything? No. The only thing that's going to matter over 100 trades is how little dollar amount did you lose compared to the dollar amount that you won. That's the game of trading. Everybody is trying to just win on a trade. They will get in here and then they'll get out here and make $100 in 5 minutes and be like, I am a genius. I am so good at trading. But they risked $200 or $300 if it would have gone against them. And so if you're playing that game, what's the only way to actually get ahead with a 50-50 shot? Maybe you have a 70% winner. It doesn't matter. If you're only making $100 on your wins, but you're losing $500 on your losses, because what do most people do on their losses? They move their stops. Okay, well, I was going to lose $200 here, but it'll turn around, and then they move their stop, and now they're down $500. Now they just start praying that it gets back to break even. Most people lose big and win small, and then they wonder why they can't make any money. Risk is the only thing that matters in your trading, because risk is going to determine the math behind your trading. You've got to know your math. Okay. So which are the support levels you would enter a sold put trade, and where would you sell a credit spread on a resistance level? So you're talking about a same day credit spread. Okay. What levels would I put a stop loss on this? So again, we've got to look at trend. What is trend doing right now? Trend on this, let's go to a 15-minute. We're very, very sideways right now on SPY. Trend is bearish at this point. We are still making lower highs and lower lows until we get a close up above 740, 741 area. Okay. So with that, do I want to go against that trend and sell a bull put spread? I personally would pass on a credit spread today. Had to do one, I don't know if I'd do a bull put spread on this or not. I would probably let the bulls confirm that they're here by getting up above 740, and then on a retest, maybe sell a bull put spread and try to sell it below 735. It's going to be really hard for a stop. Again, it's just not good price action. The risk is way too high on this one. Selling same day credit spreads is the best way to blow up your trading account, unless you know what you're doing. And even when you know what you're doing, there's still a very high chance you're going to blow up your trading account. It's a game where you have seconds to make a judgment call. You've got to set yourself up the right way. It's a hard game. 420. If we go to a big time frame, what do we have? We are still putting in higher highs and higher lows on a big time frame. So I think that this is more of like a higher low coming off into an area where this has bought multiple times. If this doesn't hold, by the way, I'm buying at 250, 240. So I think this is a really good buying spot on Tesla, and there's a very good chance I'm going to actually buy some longer term options on this I don't want to buy shares on this yet. I'd rather buy options, and I can always exercise those and turn them into shares in the future. And that allows me to, I'll put $5,000 down on this, and it allows me to control 200 shares. Instead of me buying 200 shares at 300 something bucks and put in all those thousands of dollars on risk, I can put $5,000 on risk, control the same amount, and if I want it, I can exercise it and be good to go. Right? So I'm probably going to be buying some longer term options on this, and if it rampages, cool. I'll exercise it, turn it into shares, and I'm good to go. If it drops, I don't have $200,000 sitting there losing. So that's what I'm looking at doing on Tesla. I think this is very interesting. And again, a lot of people are exiting Tesla, and it might still have more to go. We could have, 240 could be coming, but if we get down into this range, like I'm buying this up. It doesn't mean I'm going to hold it for all-time highs, but I do believe we'll have some really good bulls sitting around 240. That's just what I think. Who knows? But I'm liking this quite a bit. Hey, wouldn't you know, a bounce came on the Qs. Isn't that crazy, guys? Who'd have ever thunk that we would have gotten a bounce in this area? Holy cow. That's wild. Crazy. If you didn't get a chance to watch the beginning of this, head back in and watch the start of this recording. It'll be on your dashboard. We talked about right here why we do not want to chase this short. We didn't use an EMA. We didn't use anything else. We just talked about price action. Why this was not a good play to go short on this. And we talked about going short on a 3-minute. And we'd be getting stopped. We have already got stopped out. Just that last candle right there. Applying the strategy, my friends. That is the key. Our time is up here on the bootcamp session, my friends, but I hope you guys enjoyed it.